guys, I, Aro Sadia, welcomes you to my YouTube channel AS Classes. I hope all of you are doing well. If you people like my videos and content, then please do like, share and subscribe my channel. And if you are new to my channel, then please subscribe it. So as you know that we are doing class 7th NCERT. In today's lecture, we are going to start with Civics Chapter 1 named as Equality in Indian Democracy. When we talk about equality in Indian democracy, the first thing that we should understand is what is democracy. This word democracy we have studied in class 6 also, but I am going to explain you again what is democracy. In simple word, democracy is a form of government that is of the people, by the people and for the people. It is a form of government that works for the welfare and the development of the people. Now, when we talk about democracy, it is the form of government in which people have the authority. That means people have the right and authority to deliberate and decide legislation. Means people have the right to decide the legislation that who people are going to rule them, or to choose the government officials to do so. It is the government of the people, by the people and for the people. As I told you, democracy is a form of government of the people, by the people and for the people. It is the government of the common people. Common people elect the government and those elected members work for the welfare of the peoples. India is a democratic country. All of us know that, and equality is one of the most important feature of democracy. As the name of our chapter, equality in Indian democracy, so we have to understand what is equality. We have studied what is democracy. Now we are going to understand the concept of equality. What is it and how it became the most important feature of democracy. Now when we talk about equality, equality means all individuals are equal. Nobody can discriminate the other person. The people who are residing in India, all are equal, irrespective of their caste, gender, religion, race, economic backgrounds, anything. They can't be discriminated. Every individual is equal. So let's have a look to its definition. The Indian Constitution recognizes every person as equal. What does our Indian Constitution state? It says that every individual who is the resident of India are equal. Everybody is equal in the eyes of law, irrespective of their gender, caste, creed, religion, race. All of them are equal in the eyes of law. This means that every individual, male and female, person from all caste, religion, tribes, education and economic backgrounds are recognized as equal. Nobody can discriminate the other person on the basis of their caste, creed, religion, gender, sex. Nobody can discriminate the other person. Our Indian Constitution has given each and every individual the right to equality. That means they are equal and nobody can discriminate them. Equality is so important because it preserves the dignity of an individual. Equality is so important. Why it is important? Because it preserves the dignity of an individual. When we talk about dignity, then what is dignity? Let's have a look. It refers to the respect that an individual deserves from the other fellow human being. Dignity is the respect that we receive from the other people or the fellow human beings. It is our respect that should be given from the other fellow human being. It is a basic and necessary human right. If somebody hurts our dignity, we don't feel like talking to them. So dignity is very important aspect of equality, as it preserves our dignity. Equality is something that preserves our dignity. That's why it is an important aspect. So when we talk about equality, that means every individual, irrespective of their caste, creed, gender, race, sex, educational background, economic backgrounds, all of them are equal before the law, and nobody can discriminate the other person. That's all about this equality. As we are doing your NCERT, so one story is given in your NCERT and I am going to tell you that. The story deals with a domestic worker named as Kanta. She was standing in a morning in a queue to cast a vote. All of us know that a person who is above 18 years can cast a vote. So Kanta is standing in a queue with her friend to cast a vote. While standing in a queue, they were talking and they suddenly saw Mr. Jain. Who was Mr. Jain? He was the owner of the house in which she used to do domestic work. So she became really surprised that my landlord was also standing in the same queue in which I am standing. Both of us are equal. The constitution has given both of us the equal rights. So the people in the house I used to work is also standing in the same queue and I am also standing in the same queue. So while casting the vote, when she goes off to her home, so she was telling her friend that my daughter became ill, as they used to live in slums, and in slums the drainage system was pathetic. So her daughter usually get ill. So she will have to take her daughter to the hospital, but she can't take off from work because she has to borrow money so that she can take her daughter to the hospital from Mr. Jain. So she went to his house and asked for money. They have given, and then in the evening she came back home and then take her daughter to the hospital. But in the hospitals also she was standing in a long queue so that the doctor could visit her daughter. While standing in that queue, she think that, does we really equal? Are we really equal? When Jain Saab's daughter or son fell ill, he don't have to stand in a queue. He can directly go to the doctor. But when my children fell ill, I have to stand in a queue. Are we really equal? A question arises in our mind that, are we actually equal? No, we are not. So through this story, we can get that the constitution has given us the equal right, that all individuals are equal. But in reality, this equality doesn't really exist in our society. Through this story, we came to know that while casting the vote, they were equal, but when they are standing in a queue outside the hospital, they aren't. Why? Because there is a difference in their economic status. So through this story, we came to know that the equality is given to us by our constitution, but in reality there are many defects which are present in our society and that have to be rectified. So the Kanta's day start with standing in a queue for casting the vote and end with standing in a queue outside the government hospital. So when we talk about right to cast a vote, all of us know that people who is above the age of 18 have the right to cast the vote, all male and female. What is this right to vote called as? It is called as a universal adult franchisee. Okay, I hope that's clear. What is equality? To understand this equality, we have studied a story of a domestic worker named as Kanta and how she got confused. Are we actually equal? Because on the same day, she was standing in two different queues and with all the different peoples. I told you universal adult franchisee. What is it? The right of every individual who is of 18 or above 18 years to cast their vote. So this is the feature of India. democracy that every individual who is of 18 or above 18 have the right to cast their vote to select or to elect the representative who would work for their betterment. So when we talk about universal adult franchise, Article 326 of the Indian Constitution defines this universal adult franchise, and it refers to the right of every adult citizen of a country who is 18 years or above to cast one vote in the election irrespective of their caste, class, creed, religion and sex. Every individual who is of 18 years or above have the right to cast their vote irrespective of their caste, religion, creed, sex, gender. They can cast their vote and elect the member who will work for their betterment. Now, in democracy, a universal adult franchise is important as it is based on the idea of equality. Definitely, it is based on the idea of equality, as it doesn't discriminate any people that only females can vote or only males can vote, only a people of a particular religion or a caste vote. Every individual who is of 18 or above 18 have the right to cast their vote. So, it was based on the idea or the concept of equality. So, it is very important what is universal adult franchise. So, it is our right to vote. Your civics NCERT was full of stories for your better understanding. As to explain you the universal adult franchise, the right to vote, they have told you the story of Kanta, how she used to stand in the same queue with her boss to cast a vote, as both of them are equal in the eyes of law. So they have the right to cast the vote. Now we are going to study two more stories through which we came to know that the government has given us equal rights, but inequality still exists in our country. The people still consider some people inferior to them. So the first story we are going to start off is of a person named as Om Prakash Valmiki. Om Prakash Valmiki, he was a Dalit child, and he in his book Jutan, autobiographical book Jutan, wrote that how he has been discriminated in his school. When he was a child, he used to sit he never used to sit along with the normal students. He used to sit away from them. The mat doesn't reach him to sit. He used to sit on the floor. He was not allowed to drink water from the same tap the other people are drinking water because he was a Dalit. His headmaster, when he was in 4th standard, his headmaster asked him to clean the entire playground, which was far bigger than his small physique. He swept the playground for the entire day. But his headmaster doesn't bother. He kept on seeing him and asked him to clean the playground for 2 more days. But one day his father passed away and saw his child cleaning the playground. He became angry. He came inside the school, hold the hand of his son Om Prakash Valmiki, and said the headmaster that he is going to study in the same school and many more people who are belonging to Dalit community will come to the school and they will study with the people who are studying in this school. So this is the story in which how a Dalit student is being discriminated from these normal students who belong to the upper caste, as they consider Dalit as a lower caste. This word Dalit means broken. These people are being discriminated because of their caste. This is the story of Om Prakash Valmiki, how he has been discriminated in the school by his fellow students, his fellow friends, as well as by the teachers and the headmaster of the school. Now, the second story is about Mr. and Mrs. Ansari. Mr. and Mrs. Ansari wanted a house to live. So, they are looking for an apartment. They have enough money to pay. So, they went to a broker so that they would get a house. So they went to one apartment and they really liked it. But when the lady came to know that they are Mr. and Mrs. Ansari, by hearing their name, she refused to give them the apartment by making an excuse that she can't give her house to someone who are non-vegetarian. So they went to the other one, two, all of them were making the same excuse just by hearing their names that they can't let them the house. So they become disheartened and they keep on searching for the house. So the broker asked them to change their name as Mr. and Mrs. Kumar so that they can easily get the house to live. But they become reluctant. They refuse to change their name as Mr. and Mrs. Ansari. And by the end of a month, a lady agreed to give them the house to live. So by hearing both the stories in which Mr. and Mrs. Ansari and Om Prakash Valmiki's story, we come to know that people are still not considering each other as equal. They are discriminating each other on the basis of their economic status, on the basis of their caste, creed, religion. The law has considered us as equal, but still the defects are present in our society which has to be rectified. The inequalities are still present in our society in which we consider the other people inferior as other, as they are not lending them the home to live, as they are not allowing the kid to study in the same class, to drink the water from the same tap. So all of these are inequalities which still exist in our society and these have to be rectified. But as of now, these things have been rectified. Now the people, a student of a Dalit, a student of a Brahman, both of them are studying in the same class, sitting on the same bench, having water from the same tap. So these things are changing. The government was working on it. Now, after starting about the two stories about Om Prakash Valmiki and Mr. and Mrs. Ansari, we came to know that the inequalities still existed in our society. But the government is working on it to rectify the defects that are still present in our society. But in the earlier times, when the people were being discriminated on the basis of their caste, creed, religion, region, sex, there were no rules and regulations that can protect them. But now there are rules and regulations which can protect people from discrimination that can be made on the basis of their gender, that is whether they are male or female, on the basis of their caste, religion, creed, their economic background, their educational background. But now the things are changing and the government has been working to rectify the defects that are present in our society. So there are certain constitutional provisions which helps us to eradicate the inequalities from our society. When we talk about this constitutional provisions, first we have to understand what is a constitution. Constitution is a written document that consists of rules and regulations which have to be followed by the people and the government of the country. Now let's have a look at its definition. It is a document that lays down the basic rules and regulations. What does Constitution tells us? It tells us about the rules and regulations which the people have to follow and the government in the country. Both of them have to follow. Now there are certain constitutional provisions that the Constitution has given to us so that we can be protected from discrimination based on the basis of caste, religion, region, gender, creed. So the first one is every person is equal before law. Every individual, irrespective of their gender, whether male, female, religion, caste, creed, all of them are equal. No person can be discriminated against on the basis of caste, class, religion, region, gender. Every third one is every person has the access to public places. As in the earlier time, the Dalits were being banned to enter the temple. They were not allowed to, drink water from the same well. So now the Constitution provides us that every individual has access to public places. Untouchability has been abolished and it is an punishable offense. Untouchability, according to Article 17, has been abolished. Now, no person can follow untouchability, and if someone follows it, then it is a punishable offense. If the person who faced the untouchability can go to the police, file an FIR against that person, and they could be punished. I hope it is clear now what are the constitutional provisions given to us to ensure equality to each and every individual. Studied that government has made rules, regulation, brought schemes so that these inequalities could be eradicated from our society. So we are going to study about some laws and some schemes which government has started so that this inequalities could be eradicated from our society. So the laws which the government has been imposed are Article 14. Article 14 says that the state shall not deny any person's equality before the law within the territory of India on the grounds of gender, race, class, religion, caste, sex or place of birth. Now, according to Article 14, everybody is equal before the law and the state cannot deny that on the basis of their gender, caste, religion and sex. Now, when Article 15, what does it say? The state shall not discriminate against any citizen. The state cannot discriminate any citizen on the basis of their caste, religion, creed, race, gender, place of birth. Now, Article 16, there shall be equality of opportunities. Each and every individual should get equal opportunities, and they could not be discriminated on the basis of their caste, religion, class, creed. Okay, all of them should have equal opportunities. And when we talk about Article 17, that it abolished the untouchability, abolition of untouchability. Now, these are the laws which government has made to secure equality within its citizens. Now, there were certain schemes which the government has also introduced. So one of that scheme is midday meal. It was started by the government, and the first state that implemented it was Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu was the first who started the free lunch, midday meal lunch to the students of elementary schools. And they are getting those lunch in their school only. As in Rajasthan also, now the midday meals are provided to the students and they were having their lunch at the school. Now they are also having fruits, milk was also provided to them. So this is started so that the student would start coming to school more often. No student can feel inferior from the other. All the student either from the high class or the low class sitting together, having their lunch together. So this resulted in increase in enrollment also. So this program midday meal has proved right, so that more students were coming to the schools, enrollment increased. Now parents were sending so that their children could have a proper meal and education at one place. So what does midday meal is all about? A program introduced in all government elementary school to provide children with cooked lunch, and Tamil Nadu was the first one to start this scheme. I hope it is clear now. Equality, provisions of equality, that no person could be discriminated. Every person is equal before the law. They have the equal access to all the public places, and the untouchability has been abolished. After that, we have also studied that how government worked to secure the equality within its citizens. They had made laws and started certain schemes. After studying about the laws that government made, the schemes the government made so that the equality could be ensured in the society, the government has also made a Disability Act in 1995 to secure equality to the disabled students. This act says that This law states that person with disability has the equal right, and then the government should make possible their full participation in the society. What does this act say? The person who is disabled has the equal right to participate in the normal functioning of the society, and it is the duty of the government to make it possible for that person. Now, the government has provided free education and integrate children with disability into the mainstream school. As we know, the inclusive education has been started by the government, in which the normal students along with the disabled students were studying together. So the government has started this to provide equality to the disabled students. This law also states that all the public places, including the buildings, school, colleges, should have ramps, so that it would be easier for the disabled one to reach to a particular place, that would be a school or a college. So the government is also working to provide equality to the disabled ones, and this is the law which ensures the equality to the disabled ones. I hope you have understood what is Disability Act of 1995. About inequalities, it is not something that only existed in India. Inequality is also present in different countries around the world. One such inequality that existed in America during 1950s gave rise to a movement named as Civil Rights Movement. It is a movement that has been started because Africans and Americans were being discriminated on the basis of their colors, black and white. So when we talk about the civil rights movement, it is a movement that began in USA in 1950, a movement that has been started in USA in 1950, in which African and American people demanded equal rights and racial discrimination. The Africans and Americans are being discriminated on the basis of their colors, and they demanded the end of racial discrimination, and both of them demanded equal rights. A thing that was prevalent, if a black person is sitting in a bus and a white person came, so they have to leave their place and give their seat to the white one, that is an American one. The Africans were being discriminated by the Americans, so they were demanding the equal rights. The Civil Rights Act of 1964, it has been started in 1950s and prohibited discrimination on the basis of race, religion and nation's origin. It also stated that all the schools would be open for both Africans and Americans, and there is no need to study them in separate schools. Now, how this civil rights movement started. There is one lady named as Rosa Parks, was an African American woman. She was tired entire day, and she was sitting in a bus, and when a white person came, she refused to give her seat and she kept on sitting over there. So an African American woman refused to give up her seat on the bus to the white man on 1st December 1955. Her refusal that day started a huge agitation against the unequal ways in which the Africans and Americans are being treated. So when the people became aware of their discrimination, they raised their voice, fought for it, and gained the status of equals. So that's all for our chapter today, named as Equality in Indian Democracy. Now we can say that equality exists in India because as of now all individuals are treated as equal. Every individual is studying in same schools irrespective of their caste, religion, region, creed, race, gender, sex. Every individual has the equal opportunities of jobs. They can get the job they wanted to irrespective of their caste, religion, region and creed. So the government has worked to provide their citizens the right to equality in terms of education, in terms of economic status, in terms of religion. They can follow the religion of their choice, caste, creed, everything. So government has been working, and the inequality and inequality exists in our society, but still the inequalities are being eradicating day by day, and one day we will definitely attain the status of complete equality in our country. So that's all for our chapter today. I hope it is clear, and if you guys like my video and content, then please do like, share and subscribe my channel. Thank you for watching.